Welcome to Unlocking Freedom in Nature and Art. We're so excited to be here today. And today we have Lani here who is launching her book. So I want to welcome Lani back. She's an author and a guide and just a wonderful person. So love having you. And she has her friend Sarah, who is the publisher, right? Or
The editor.
the editor, I mean. So sorry about that. So thank you. Thanks everyone for being here. And we're actually really super excited that they're here because they had a huge storm the last few days and we didn't know if they were going to even be able to be here. So we've been so excited to have you guys and glad it's not storming too bad there right now. So
Yeah, you can see
welcome.
behind us, the trees are still and sun's coming up.
Oh, I'm jealous because it's going to be warm there.
Yeah.
So, Lonnie, let's hear all about your book and what first sparked the idea for this book.
Well, after I wrote the first book, Under a Full Moon and a Guiding Star, I thought I was done. Like one book was all I had in me. And in January of 2024, I was reading a book, The Untethered Soul, by Michael Singer. And at the end of the book, there was a question about if you were standing at the edge, would you go beyond? And it just hit like beyond what? And if I go beyond, am I ready to go beyond? And where would that be? And so just the word beyond became my word for the year. Like, what does that mean? And as things would pop up with that word, I would collect them. And Sarah had been my writing coach for the first book. So I told her, I said, I think there might be something brewing. I've got this word. And she was all excited, but it's like, don't get too excited because I'm not sure yet. But it was in November of 2024 that I was attending a poetry reading at our local community college in the new library, fairly new to me anyway, Library Commons that has three-story floor-to-ceiling windows looking out at our beautiful Ko'ola mountain range. And the poet's words and that setting just hit me that this is the place I will write my second book. And that beyond was going to be the theme or, of it. But I didn't know where that was going to take me. And Sarah can talk a little bit about the process that she uses that, you know, just start writing. Um, and like the first book, the structure will emerge. And so this book is much more of a journal. It's a guide. I call it a guide for life's journey beyond the horizon.
Awesome.
Um, and there are reflections, questions in relation to indigenous wisdom, the medicine wheel of Native Americans, Hawaiian indigenous wisdom, and just our connection between ourselves and the earth and nature, the elements. So there's blank pages. So I recommend people getting a paperback copy. It is on Kindle and hardcover, all on Amazon. But because I see it as a journal, there are blank pages to write your reflections.
I personally like having a book right in front of me instead of on audio or, that you can always go back. Then you always have it to go back to.
Yeah.
Even
Oh,
even
mine.
if the power's out, then you have a book to read, right?
And a good book, mine always have dog-eared pages or a paper clip or a bookmark or something in the ones that are, ones that you really keep.
So, and why the title Beyond the Horizon?
That was just from that quote from Untethered Soul. It's like if you're standing at the edge and really looking at horizons more as not a definite. In fact, let me read right here.
Yeah, sometimes it's easier to read when you try to remember everything. It goes blank. Anyway, in my mind, it does.
Yeah, he says, would you like to go beyond? Would you like to feel no edges? And so that was the moment where I was ready to say yes. And then beyond the horizon is the line where the earth meets the sky, implying a finite line. But in truth, as we move and grow, our horizons move with us and within us.
So I absolutely love the name, and that is such a beautiful quote there. That you said because it just reminds me of like every time you go out and you see a sunset or a sunrise. And in Hawaii, the sunsets are just absolutely gorgeous, right? And sunrise. But we have them here too, and I believe you have them there in New York as well, right, Sarah? But there's just something about it, and I've been noticing how many people are like, I'm a sunset chaser or I'm a sky chaser, and I don't know if you've seen the Northern Lights, either of you,
I
but
have not.
Yes.
it's just, I don't know, our skies are so beautiful.
Mhm.
I love just staring at the clouds. A lot of times, even in storms, I know they can be scary, but they're beautiful at the same time.
Mhm.
Yeah. Tell her about the other night when we went out to see the moon.
Oh, wait, which night?
What was it Saturday night? And the full moon and
Oh,
stars and
yes, it was absolutely gorgeous. And wait, oh, when we were standing out here to
yeah,
see the full
yeah.
moon, I was like, wait, let me remember, because the moon has been so beautiful and full here for a lot of the time, and the full moon has made the winds and the rain, and um, it was incredibly gorgeous.
Yeah.
So one of the things I was thinking about with the title and the beautiful quote that she read is that when we stand, like we were at North Shore yesterday, we saw the turtles. It's crazy beautiful. But when we stand at the beach, we have the water coming at our feet and then moving back and forth, right? And we're standing still, but we're looking at a horizon, thinking there is something separating the sky from the earth. But in fact, the horizon itself is moving, and the separation between us and the sky is thin. The separation between us and the earth is thin. We are made from the sky, right? And we are connected and grounded in the earth. So one thing I love about this book and the experience of being in Hawaii, of course, is that even when we are standing in the sand with the water moving, we are grounded and yet we are also deeply moving from the water washing over us and from the nature around us. I have always thought that the plants and the trees and the sky and the water were living beings, but being in Hawaii has really magnified that. And this book really asks us, how are we connected to the earth? How are we connected to what we see? And are we willing to deepen our relationship to the earth and the wisdom that comes from the water, the clouds, the sky? Can you talk a little bit about the whales and how the whales work in the book?
Yeah. So you can see that there's two whale tails there on the cover. And there's a story about how those two tales came to be significant. It was when we scattered our son's ashes 20 years ago after he passed from brain cancer. And we were off the coast of Maui, and there were two whales there. And as we had finished scattering, they surfaced and did a dive, and both tails came up at the same time. And so the whales have become what we call in Hawaiian culture amakua, or our spirit guide. And in my first book, I used the green sea turtle, the honu, and in this book, it's the whale. And so there's a whale tail icon throughout the book to indicate that we're going to pause and reflect and ask questions. Um, and so the the other part of that is that when Jacob was 10, he actually drew a image of a whale that was very much to scale for some educational consultants that sort of launched our family on this journey of connecting with the green sea turtle and the humpback whales.
So that's awesome. And I've watched other shows about the whales that they actually mentioned the whole whale tale, different stories, the Hawaiian culture. So I've been to Hawaii like 3 or 4 times, and I usually spend 2 to 3 weeks when I do go because I absolutely love it because it's different than in the Northwest because of course it's warm, but the salt, from the ocean and the air and just it's a difference. It's like here we have our moose and elk and deer and turkeys and stuff. Over there you have the sea turtles, the dolphins, and I have been blessed, of course, every single time I've been over there. I remember the one time was on Mother's Day, and we were out swimming in one of the bays, and this was on the Big Island. And I next thing I look up, and there's dolphins swimming underneath me, above me, and beside me. There was 30 dolphins, you know, and they were just like playing, for
Yeah.
an hour, and I was just in so much awe.
Yeah.
Or like you're out in the ocean swimming and all of a sudden a sea turtle bumps you and you're like, what was that?
Yeah.
But it is amazing in the fresh air. And thank you for sharing that symbolism.
Yeah. And the other part of that I just remembered was the significance of the journey of the humpback whale. So there's like four different humpback whale groups on the planet. So North and South Pacific and North and South Atlantic. So I grew up with of course, northern humpback whales, Pacific northern humpback whales, and their journey from Alaska to Hawaii every year is about 5,000 miles. And so I thought that was also significant in beyond the horizon and our own journeys, that how far are we willing to go? And sometimes how deep are we willing to go? So that's another part of the book.
That's awesome. I know. I can't wait to get one and read it. So
Great. Yeah, like I said, it's up available on Amazon, Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. I did the hardcover because that's the one where the pictures are in color. Um, so for me, sometimes that was a significant part to have some of the pictures in color that really sort of help tell the story a little bit better.
I totally get it. So I know I had the debate because it does raise the price of the
Yep.
book, but it's
Yep.
well worth it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and if someone was to only remember one message from your book, what would you hope that would be?
I'm just going to read this. It's to journey home to yourself. So, as I began this book, my vision and view was of the horizon from the perspective of the kohola, the humpback whale, horizontal and deep. And what emerged as I continued to write was the eagle's perspective of vertical and wide. Each of these guides helps us to look beyond our horizons while still being able to look back and see how far we have journeyed. I have also realized that it is a constant experience of change and surrender. Sometimes we are floating along on a calm sea, and other times we have to dive deep or fly high. Every experience requires some sort of surrender, and the greatest of these is to love. So I hope that you will give yourself and others the grace to go beyond the horizon.
Oh, that was beautifully written. So it tells your heart. And actually that's my prayer for everybody. It's like go beyond. I think it of as like go out of your way to be kind,
Mhm.
to help somebody else. And sometimes, you don't know how it affects you because you see people that'll say, well, gosh, they really didn't appreciate it. But there might be somebody that's watching you do that, that
Mhm.
sees the appreciation, and it's like the ripple effect.
Mhm.
You think about tide wave, then they will start doing it for others. And, it's like kindness gets us more than anything else in life. It's, when you're shouting, screaming, and being, it doesn't get us anywhere,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? It just
One of,
frustrates.
mm. If I can jump in, one of the things I would also say about the book and the passage that she read is this is a book that asks you, how do you connect with the natural world? And which natural world, right? Like, is it the moose and the elk in Idaho? Is it the deer and the squirrel in New York? Is it the turtle in Hawaii? Like, wherever you are on this gorgeous blue spinning rock, that we call home, how do you connect to the natural world? And how can you listen and honor and respect the natural world? I grew up by the ocean in Virginia, and I've thought of the Atlantic and its beauty and its complicated history. And the Pacific, of course, has its complicated history too. And it is wild. So there is a deep respect that I have for this ocean that I have seen here in Hawaii. So also, this book asks you, how do you respect the natural world that is within you and around you? And the perspectives that you talk about, the deep perspective and the wide perspective, we often can be only in one of them, right? Like we can only
Right.
be in what we can see. And sometimes one of the beautiful things that she has taught me is how to step back and see the from the eagle, from the larger big picture. I'm a poet by nature, so I'm going to tell you the smallest possible thing up close. And she has taught me how to expand the vision. And for those of us who always see the big vision, how can we go small? In
Right.
respecting and loving nature, can we open up to a perspective that we may not have every single day? That's one of definitely the messages of the
Thank
I
you.
book.
know Lonnie's a soul sister of mine, is what we've discovered because
Yeah.
we are so much alike on that. Because no matter where I go, it's like I just love looking at the bark on the trees. I'm looking outside right now,
Yes.
looking at the rocks or the leaves, or you're listening to it's like the palm trees there, or the leaves at home, like the aspen or whatever, or the smells. There's like it's like use your senses, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
just pause and take a moment to reflect and take it all in. And when you're out in nature, this is one thing, leave no trace behind. Don't leave, that is one of the things we can help with nature, is respect it. It is kind of like, when you see a moose, I don't know if either of you guys have seen moose before.
No, I'm not.
People don't realize how huge they are. They're they're close to like a Clydesdale, and they're huge when you see them, and they're so dark, and you have to respect them. And you would think that they're because they look clumsy and awkward, but they're not. And they can be sneaky and quiet. I had one time I was down in my garden, I was weeding, and my husband came down and he's like, "Did you know there's only a moose like 5 feet from you right now? Just standing there." Well, it was on the other side of the fence and I'm weeding, and we have our fenced a certain way so it couldn't get in there. And I'm like, no, I didn't realize it. It snuck up on me, and and I have really good ears. I hear usually everything. But part of it is probably because have gotten so used to wildlife around all the
Yeah.
time. But it's like take the time to notice those little things, like you were saying, Sarah, the beauty. It's like expand your vision to see all of that beauty, like a mountain, like on the mountaintop, overlooking the eagle's view, right?
Yeah.
And then narrow it down to where you notice the bark on the trees,
Yeah.
or that little flower stand, well, it's like I was hiking the other day and it's like there's this little tiny tree coming out of a stump of a tree that had, gotten blown over or cut off. I can't remember. But there was this like tiny little tree, or you see the trees on the rocks, the cliffs, and you're like, okay, I can water a tree and feed it and stuff, and it doesn't survive. Yet this tree out on the rock in nowhere is huge, growing, surviving, and they'll have like their roots are wrapped around these rocks.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. So, yeah, Sarah, I agree with you. It's like, and I'm so excited to hear more. You read your books, Lonnie,
Yeah.
because I'm just visualizing it. Everything you guys are saying, I visualize.
Yeah.
So,
There's an exercise in there about grounding. There's one about connecting with your five senses, observing. So, like I said, there's reflections, there's quotes, just to get you to think beyond your immediate horizon. Like
Mhm.
where do you want to go next?
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
So,
in these, Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I was just going to say, in these interactive exercises, you might, for a moment, put down the book and be grounded or pay attention to your senses, have some awareness, and then come back to the book. So the book is so juicy because it lets you be in it and be in the world, right? So it's a great book to put in your suitcase. It's a great book to have with you on a train or a plane or as you're moving through the world. And it's a book also that helps you. One thing I love about it, it in some ways it feels like a portal because it asks you to go back to other landscapes or beautiful places that you know. So it grounds you in the one you're in, and then it helps you reflect on this particular tree that you love, or this particular mountain, or this particular horizon, right? Because we know the horizon that we are closest to, right? But the horizon's image in Hawaii is way different, than the horizon's image in Virginia or LA or other places I've been.
Oh yeah, and when and it's like what you said, Sarah. You discover that our planet, our world, is has so many beautiful areas.
Yes.
When you start getting out there and you travel and stuff, you see the beauty around us in nature. If you take the time and pause,
Yeah.
so, and I love that. Put the book down. And that's the great thing about having the book in hand,
Mhm.
because then you can pause and it sounds like you have the pages where it's almost like a journal. So you can write, you could draw, paint a picture if you want. But it also sounds like it's reflective. So it's bringing up memories or places that you've gone
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
So I love that. So, what do you hope readers feel when they finish the last page?
Um, I hope
Mm.
that they feel like they're ready to explore their own new horizons,
Mhm.
that this book moves them or prompts them to just take one more step in a new direction, to um, try one more thing that's unfamiliar, but they might think they want to explore. Um, and then, if people want to, if they have a personal challenge, I invite them to, contact me via my website. If they have questions about the book, I would love to hear people's reviews or questions or comments. But I just hope that it prompts people to move forward.
Awesome. So you were going to, so Lonnie has a book drawing she's going to be doing here. But Lonnie, do you want to explain how that's going to work for them?
Sure. So from now until February 14th, if you subscribe to my Alakai Associates website, it's a free subscription. You don't have to pay anything. Just go to Alakai, that's ALAKAI Associates.com, hit subscribe, and any new subscriber between now and the 14th will be entered into a drawing for a free signed copy of the book. If you're out of the United States, um, I will send you, if you're the lucky winner, I will send you an Amazon gift card so that you can purchase the book.
Awesome. So that there was for is the drawing, and Lonnie will put it on the site here. In the comments, we'll put her link for that. Also, I want to say hi to Vanessa, Linda, Heather, and anybody else is watching. We appreciate it. And if you have any questions, please ask us here, because I know some of you can't watch it right now and you're watching it later on. So please ask and we will respond. Do either one of you guys have anything else you would like to add to this? I mean, we're so excited that Sarah made it, and I asked her earlier if she would come on the show separately. So I'm excited to have you
I
back.
want to say that she is an excellent intuitive writing coach. So if
Thank you.
anybody is looking for a writing coach, editor, um, please reach out. We can share Sarah's contact as well. And just her intuitive process is what fit for me. It might not fit for everyone, but if you are looking in that direction, please contact her to explore.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. I just wanted to say, one, it's an incredible book. So, whatever your horizon is, or your limiting beliefs, or whether you see in an eagle's vision or a particular vision, this is the book for you. And then, two, I wanted to say writing is one of the ways that helps us move beyond the horizon, right? And writing for me is a full body sport. People who write with me may have 1 page, 5 pages, a beginning draft, any of those places in the writing process. People are free to reach out to me. They can find me at sarah@sarahjeffries.com. And I am an intuitive writing coach and poet and editor that really helps you complete your book. Sometimes in the writing circles, I'm called a book doula. I'm particularly good at helping people move their ideas around and really hone in on the sentences that they want to say. And whether it's a book about nature or a book of poems or short stories or novels, none of that matters in terms of genre. But I do invite people to find the writer within and to find the creative spirit that lives on their heart. Because each one of us has the possibility of writing, even if we're not even sure how to put a book together.
Mhm.
How to put it together, we can figure out. Structure arrives. But if you have a vision that you want to get on the page and share, then definitely feel free to reach out.
Yeah. I love that you said book doula because that really was how it felt with my first book. Like a birth doula, a book doula, definitely.
So, Sarah, so one of the tricks, what I'm hearing from you is have a journal, write down short little things
And you
to
can
help you
start
get
before.
to writing.
Yes, yes. And also, I'm a yoga teacher, so there's a lot of meditation or gentle yoga or breathing or relaxing exercises that we do in the writing process. You know, writing is a full body sport. We don't just write from up here, we write from here and we write from here.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. And what I realized when I wrote my book, I learned about a lot about myself.
Hmm.
It brings up things that you don't even realize that are there. You know, and the other thing was funny is like I wrote my book and then it was like a friend had written a book too at the same time and was like, oh my gosh, we are so on the same page. Because you would have thought one of us copied from each other, but we're like thousands of miles apart. But it just showed how sometimes you find that your connections or friends are a
Mhm.
lot like you when
Mhm.
you go deep, you know.
And however you do it, putting pen to paper um, does really connect mind, body, and spirit, and can be a very healing process.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's what I enjoyed about working with Sarah in her intuitive process was that she helps ask those questions that you might not be willing to ask yourself that take you to the next piece of your journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do ask really hard questions, but questions that I invite you to think with and sit with and meditate on. You don't have to answer them right away. Questions that will align patterns in your life or relationship questions, questions that will ask you about decisions that you've made or what values you have on your heart. Um, Deeper questions.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited that you're part of our group now. So, and I expect to see that question about nature or something to get our audience and our group thinking
Yeah.
occasionally. So, I love those. I love it when people post encouraging or inspirational quotes or photos, and if there's anything that I can help with, I mean, be sure to ask, or direct message me. Um,
Yeah.
because that's how we learn and that's how we grow. And sometimes I will admit it, I squirrel off and I'll be like doing this or doing that. And so it helps when somebody asks me something,
Yeah.
So, and I love it yeah, my writing coach was the same way. They'd ask me questions and make me think,
Yeah.
because that's what you need. Coaches and mentors are awesome. That's
Yes.
what we're here for is to help you out. I have my own coach and mentors that
Yeah.
help me, and it is worth the money,
Mhm.
because it saves us so much time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I would say we're not meant to write alone. We're meant
Yeah.
to write in groups. We're meant to create in groups. We're meant to live in groups. Like, we're not meant to do this thing called life alone.
Yeah. It's amazing how many authors we have in this group.
Oh,
It's so that's very exciting. So
yeah.
and so anyway, any last words for our group? I'd like to say hi to Dale and Patty. Welcome, and to everybody else. We're just so excited that you did show up and that you're here showing support.
Yeah, thank you. And then Tammy will put the information about the drawing again up for you. Subscribe to Alikaya Associates to be entered between now and February 14th for a copy of Beyond the Horizon, A Guide to Life's Journey.
Awesome. So thank you so much. And before we leave, I just wanted to say be sure to check out Lonnie's book. It is on Amazon. We will be putting the links here. Be sure to enter the drawing, go to her website, and and sign up there. And she'll be posting a sign up. We'll just let you post a little sign up thing so that to enter the drawing for the Beyond the Horizon book with the links. So you
Okay.
can either send it to me or I will, or you can
All right.
post it.
Okay.
And also, I wanted to mention the fact that I have been working on the Unlocking Freedom in Nature website. So please check it out. Also, I had kind of slightly mentioned this that I have also been working on another website, which is called Northwest Style and Image. And that is the other side of me. That's where I actually have my degree and is in fashion and design. And the reason why I went ahead and finished my website was I used to have one and then I took it down, but I've had so many people asking questions about fashion, tips, makeup, different things. So I have put it up. It is up and going. So I will drop the links as well for that. And that's just to check out for fun. If you have any questions, I'll be putting little tips there. So that's the other side of us. Kind of like when Lani and Sarah and I were talking about being authentic. I have a whole article that I'll be putting out there. And being authentic doesn't mean you can't wear makeup. I'm just throwing that out there. A lot of times people think that you have to be raw. You have to dress this way or that. It's like, oh, I'll just go to the store in pajamas. That's being authentic. That's scary, actually. That's being lazy.
Yeah.
you know, Being authentic is just means being yourself, but being kind at the same time. It doesn't mean being rude. There's like so many different, when I was writing the article, kind of like what you were talking about, Sarah, because I would journaled and writing notes. And it's like, oh my gosh, this goes so much deeper when you start looking at all the different angles of it. And I was like, oh my, you could almost do a whole book on it, to put it that way. And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, I'm already at like 3,000 words on it. But anyway, besides the point, that's not what we're here for. I just wanted to throw that out there because Alani, you have an authentic soul. You are kind, and
Thank
your
you.
book, I am sure, is going to shine. You're going to shine through your book, your stories.
Thank you.
And I always love having you. I appreciate having you here as well, Sarah. And
Thank
I
you.
appreciate each and every person that is in our group because we have an amazing group and I love the kindness. And somebody was asking me the other day, it's like, well, do you have to ever remove remarks? I think I've only had to remove like one or two in 3 years. That tells you about our group is about kindness and caring and listening. We may not always agree on something, but I try to keep it all about nature and art so we can agree so that you can come someplace and be inspired. That's my goal is for you to be inspired or motivated, help you get through a bad day just by coming here. So thank you so much. Thank you, Lani, for sharing your book with us. Thank you, Sarah, for taking the time out. I'm glad it is beautiful behind you. So go enjoy some sunshine. And if you're in the area this week, I ask you to pause, take a moment, breathe in the fresh air, and wherever you are, I hope you are able to get out just even for a few minutes. So thank you everyone for being here, and have a great week.
All right, aloha.